beautiful life. Do you know that a lot of top people in the world have either ADHD, autism, dyslexia, or Asperger's disease? It doesn't hold them back, so don't let it hold you back. People that think outside the box change things. At the University of Plymouth graduation photographic section. What's your name?
My name's Charlie Hu+Man. I'm a third year here at Plymouth University, just finished our final year of the course and currently invigilating the degree show.
And what's your photography all about?
Currently my photography has been about sand. Interestingly enough, I've been doing close-up of sand across the Cornish coastline, working my way down along, and as you see the changes and differences, trying to link to my personal relationship to the beaches. And
you use photography as an escape as well, don't you?
Completely, yeah. I've been using it as an escape for years. It's for me, it's a very nice way to relax my mind, to be able to, when I need just to de-stress, I'll take a camera out, walk around, enjoy taking photos.
Because you were diagnosed with autism?
Yes, I was around age 11 when I was diagnosed officially with autism, and since then, a lot of struggles I've had in my life have started making sense, and photography has helped me with a lot of them. Alongside my autism diagnosis, I'm also dyslexic, so the spoken word and writing is a lot harder for me, but the visual language comes a lot more naturally.
So how were you diagnosed?
I was privately diagnosed after having a lot of issues socially and academically at my primary school. Me and my parents went and met the lead expert at the time, who gave me a private diagnosis, and then we started pushing for an official one via the school.
Did that include bullying?
Yes, it included quite a bit of bullying at the time.
Yeah.
I was seen as quite different. I didn't understand what was wrong, the school didn't understand what was wrong with me, so I was quite quickly labelled as just a child with bad behaviour and behavioural issues instead of a child with special needs,
So you had anxiety as well?
I had anxiety, I had a lot of stuff at the time. I was not in a personal happy place. This was, eventually things did get, once getting your diagnosis and moving up to North Cornwall, things did get better. The facilities up where I'm from, Bude, were much better than what I had in my original place.
Yeah. So when were you diagnosed with autism?
I was diagnosed officially around age 11.
Yeah. And you do you think that you were held back when you were diagnosed by being put into a category?
Yes and no. Certain pros and cons, I think. In many, because the eyes already have held back anyway, just by physically having it, it makes it hard to do certain things. Being able to understand what I had and why I was acting that way did allow us to start doing specialist research and getting stuff I need to actually put me on even footing with everyone else. Because all of a sudden, with an official diagnosis, we can start applying for specialised equipment or whatever to help me. Or like, one of the big things is with an autism diagnosis, I was then allowed to start using a laptop in class instead of writing, which was a massive help because with spell check for dyslexia and stuff like that. So,
that can make mistakes, and it can be quite embarrassing if it's the wrong sort of mistakes.
Exactly.
At times. So you go onto the beach quite a lot then?
8 years ago we moved from Kingstainton, Devon to Bude in North Cornwall. And Bude is a beautiful beachside town at the very north of Cornwall. It's much quieter from where I was originally from, and of course moving there as an autistic individual, I spent most of his childhood at that point being bullied. I felt very alone. I didn't feel like I had much support there, so the beach is where I spent a lot of my free time. I got into bodyboarding, swimming in general, the beautiful sea pool. Eventually when I moved into the school, after that first summer there, I got the opportunity to start meeting people. People were a lot more accepting of me there. And I had these opportunities to, after school, go to the beach with friends, and just simple things like that, which having access to the beach and being able to spend my time on the beach and just love for it made it a lot easier to connect with people, because in a North Cornish town like that, everyone has a love for the beaches.
So what made you decide to come to the University of Plymouth?
What made me decide to come to the University of Plymouth? So of course, 3-4 years ago at this point, the university application process began, and I wanted to be somewhere which, I wanted a bit of independence from my family at this point. I wanted to see if I could do it, but I didn't want to be so far away that if something did go wrong, I couldn't contact them. So Plymouth was kind of the perfect choice at that point in time. You can still get a bus directly from my hometown here, but it's far enough away where I feel independent. It's also... With the world of photography, there's a realistic chance I could end up in London one day working off another major city, and since I'd spent the past 8 years living in a small Cornish town, we weren't sure if we could handle city. So going to a city like Plymouth, the idea was I'd get more used to city. It's still a beachside city, so the beach and all these things that help me cope was still available here.
Well, a lot of people that are different get bullied. Tom Daly was bullied in Plymouth, and he had to change school. But that did him a favour because he got taken on by Devonport High School for boys, and then he had to go through the worst scenarios because his father had cancer, and he had to go through that, and then the bullying and the change of school, and he still went to the Olympics and achieved gold at the Olympics. And then you got Richard Branson. He's quite severely dyslexic, and Elon Musk has got Asperger's disease, Asperger's, I think. So it can work in your favour because people that think outside the box can be very, very creative, and they think differently to other people.
I think
I've got dyslexia, and I was bullied at school as well.
I think it's all about how school systems handle it. Originally, when I was diagnosed and was living in Devon, the school system very much around that area there was a specialist school for kids with that, and they tried to get kids out of the main school system to a specialist school. I never ended up going to a specialist school because my parents didn't think it'd be best for me. Eventually, I said 8 years ago, my dad's job changed and he had to start work up in the north of Cornwall, Bude. So my entire family relocated to Bude, and there the entire school system's different because it's a much smaller, isolated area. There is no specialist school, so the mainstream education is suddenly a lot more prone to deal with stuff like that. They have whole entire special units. So when I went in with these problems, everyday teachers knew how to deal and help people like me, and that's, I think, ultimately, if I had to say what made the difference, it's that.
Can we look at your photography now?
Of course.
So what's this piece about?
So this piece, I said, I'm trying to capture my relationship to the beach, and particularly to me, one of the things I've loved about the beach is the sand. I love just lying there. I love how relaxed I feel just lying on the sand. So I've gone down the North Cornish coastline, taking samples of the sand and then bringing them into a studio environment and photographing them with a macro lens. So you get these very close-up, fine photos of the sand where you can just make out all the little details that make up the sand, and you can see.
And what sort of lens do you use?
I am using a standard 50mm lens, but I've used multiple ring extenders on it to give it the macro effect. So I'm also using 6 ring extenders. I think it ends up with an extra 200mm to it, which, yes, you just get this very strong macro effect with it. And then it's all photographed in a studio environment, because when you shoot like this in macro, the images get very dark, so you need some very powerful lights to brighten them up, so it's just surrounded by very bright light shining at the sand, which is just on a pile on a plinth with a camera on a tripod pointed down at it. And then I use a very pseudo-scientific approach where I'm only changing the sand, the camera doesn't move, the lights don't move, so you truly get to see the differences in all the different sand when you see the entire series.
You told me that you were written off at one point, and you were told that you probably wouldn't get anywhere in life, and then you've managed to get
yes,
a high qualification. What's your qualification?
Okay, so come this October when the official when the official graduation happens, I'll be getting a BA honours in photography, which will be my degree.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Which I said I was told in around year 4 that the headmaster and mistress at the school at the time didn't believe I'd survive in a school environment, didn't believe I could make it, and this is before I moved to Bude. But since then, since moving to Bude, and since
you've flown.
I've flown. I've done amazing things. I've got my GCSEs, A levels, and now a degree. Which
it's so easy to categorise people and put them in boxes and hold them back, and I've seen that with other people. You know. So can we see your other stuff now?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
So the degree show is divided into 2 sections, the main hallway where you've got the bigger pieces, and then personal portfolios in the smaller secondary room, which will contain the rest of my series, and the samples of sand which links to the work.
Yeah.
If we just come along here. Just over here we have the rest of the work, including our samples of the 10 different beach sands from the 10 different beaches used, so you truly see the difference as you go from the most north of North Cornwall and slowly work your way down, still in the North Cornwall, but you see just in the small sample size the varying differences throughout the sand, which is then added to when you see the actual entire portfolio.
So you could end up going into natural history.
Exactly. Where you slowly start seeing, as you go down, just the changing sand. Once again, because it's all photographed the same, you truly see on different beaches, the grains getting bigger, smaller, the colour changing.
Have you learnt anything about the compositions and what's in the sand?
Yes, I have. As you go down North Cornwall, you start getting more slate in the sand, which is what turns it more black and the darker colours.
Yeah. Have you found any iron or zinc or gold even?
Not as of yet. I haven't really got the equipment to check it. I hope as I continue on this project, I hope to be gathering more equipment so I can start checking stuff out and finding out more of the differences.
Yeah.
But the main thing I'm finding at this scale is microplastics and stuff like that, because whenever I go to all these beaches, I do a beach clean alongside it. Just That's my moral compass kind of thing.
Well, microplastics are everywhere, even in our bloodstream, because everything we have is packaged in plastic.
Yeah.
And it's getting into our systems as well, and nobody really knows the long-term effect of that yet.
Yeah. But no, because this project, the initial idea of using macrophotography started a year ago with a project I did similar to this, but with stuff that washed up from the ocean, so plastics, bits like golf balls. Last year's project we had to collaborate with charities. So I collaborated with a beach clean charity led by a woman called Deb Rosser in the Cornish area, who I went down to the beach with them, helped them for an hour and a half of beach clean, took the rubbish home and photographed it in the same macro style. Yeah, well, getting out in the fresh air and getting by the sea is also good for your mental health as well. Oh, completely. And it takes your mind off other issues. Yeah. Exactly. I've loved the fact that for the past 2 years now I've been able to do work like this, which is very therapeutic for me, also, because I'm able to combine it with beach cleans and other stuff like this, I'm helping give back to the communities I've loved have helped me so much. Yeah. Yeah. Nice one. And that would be the final one from the series, which is our darkest one. Very good. Mullock Beach, which is as far down as I've gone currently. Yeah. So, what's your next step after university? My next step, I am, alongside doing all this personal work, I am a surf photographer for Freewave Surf Academy, which is in Wisdom. Sorry, you're a staff photographer? I'm a surf photographer. Oh, a surf photographer, sorry, for Freewave Surf Academy, which is a surf school in Widmouth area, so I will be going back to them this summer where I'll continue photographing their surfers on lessons and helping sell the photos and hopefully give families a bit of a thing to remember from their holidays down Cornwall Way. Yeah. Following on from that, I would like to continue my surf photography business and hopefully follow the summer. So go to Australia, photograph their surfers in their summer. Because you've got relatives in Australia, so it's a good way of getting across that. I've got a couple of uncles in Australia who are already involved in the sports industry there, so I have a few connections I hope to be able to follow. Yeah. And then whilst continuing personal work like this on the side, and hopefully be able to do something with this and see if there's organisations potentially interested. Nice one. Yeah. So what's your name? Charlie Hu+Man. And have you got a website, a Facebook? Currently, my biggest promotion is my Instagram, which is charlie.h.photography. Yeah. And how long was your course? The Plymouth University course was 3 years on a normal course, 4 years if you do the foundation, which I didn't do. Yeah. Yeah. So you managed to get in at the top end. You missed the foundation. Yes, I was able to, because I came 4 years ago at this point. You came here for the initial interview with a guy named Angus who runs the course. Yeah. Brought my portfolio, and my portfolio was strong enough that I was given an unconditional offer to the normal 3-year course. Yeah. Which at the time felt absolutely amazing. That's very good, yeah. Yeah. And I love my time here. Yeah. So, and you're mixing with different people as well. Oh, exactly. I think, if nothing else, the most beneficial thing, or one of the most beneficial things I've got from this course is for the past few years, I've been surrounded by 20-odd like-minded young photographers, all passionate about their craft, all doing completely different things, as you can see from this show. Yeah. But all of which have this same passion to make images, and it's just been great learning from them, hearing what their experience is. Can I just say something? From what I've seen, that people with autism or mental health problems can be pushed in the wrong direction, if you don't mind me saying, but in some cases, by being put in situations where they're with people with worse mental health problems than what they've got. And I think in some areas that can hold them back, whereas here you've been mixing with intellectual people at a higher level, and it expands your mind in a different area. Yeah, I think you can sometimes suffer the issue of just going, anybody with any kind of learning difficulties. We've got seagulls talking to us. Yeah. I do think you can sometimes have an issue where anyone with any kind of learning difficulties, so anyone who's not doing very well just gets lumped in together. I know. Do you think it's putting them in boxes and writing them off to a certain extent? Oh, completely. And I think sometimes it's done wrong. I say, going back to my early years school experience when I was fixing the bullying, and when I was first getting a diagnosis, the school at that point in time, the school there wasn't equipped to deal with it. So Can I ask you another question? Do you have ADHD as well? I personally do not suffer from ADHD as far as we're aware. I was tested for it 10 years ago, and at the time it was said no. Yeah. I of course, I do show some traits, but none of which, to me, I don't personally believe I have it. It's, of course, it being a spectrum, everyone can show traits, and there's also a lot of links between ADHD, autism, and everything else on the spectrum. I think there could be too many boxes as well. I mean, when I was a schoolboy, I've always been athletic, and I was that hyper when I was at school that I couldn't concentrate on education. So I got low grades, but I made it for it later on in life, because I did a BTEC in Iraq and did a HND in media, film, television, and that was enough for me. I didn't need to go for the BA because I wanted to get out in the field and working. But yeah, I think a lot of, when it comes to schooling, people do put in boxes. I think it can be just a lot of people not knowing and not being aware of how to help people. A couple of years ago, did help make a research tool with Durham University called AAA, which is a research tool designed to help teachers deal and know how to properly educate and help autistic kids in a classroom. The idea being that, I think really what you want to do is not, when you have an autistic kid come in school, you don't want to separate them and put them in this box and say they need to be treated differently. You want to learn how to adapt so they can be.
Well, they're not actually moving forward if they're put with people the same as them all the time. So you've done incredibly well.
Thank you.
And you've got a great future ahead of yourself. And you're going to be with the surfers on the beach this summer.
Oh yeah, from next week I'll be back at the Surf Academy, probably about waist deep in the ocean with this massive camera photographing the surfers again. It's how I love spending my summers.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Have a great summer ahead of you, Charlie, and a future ahead as well. Thanks very much. Special thanks to Charlie and everybody at the University of Plymouth 2025. Love Summertime TV Worldwide. You can contact us at ccsphoto1@gmail.com. Don't forget to friend and share the video. It's live.